30
because it was like chaotic.
Blew the effing airport up, and then she just basically had a hood, and she pulled the gun from underneath her hood, fired the first shot up, and then it's kind of scattered after that.
Witness says Odufuwa was yelling about her husband having an affair before she started firing.
Chapter 5, looks like we have a scene on the west side of the airfield. Looks like a shooting.
We all battle with mental struggles throughout our day-to-day lives, but this story takes place as one of the craziest stories I've heard. The more that I learn about 37-year-old Portia Odufuwa, the more that I question how she was even allowed to get to this point. Before Monday's tragic shooting, this woman was claiming to be Chris Brown's wife. Yeah, this Chris Brown. So I immediately had to dive deeper to find out what sort of person this was. And it seemed like the deeper I dug, the more crimes that I found from her past. And some of them very serious, like bank robbery and arson. How did this woman get to the point where she was claiming to be cheated on, believing to be Mrs. Brown, while she fired shots in the airport in broad daylight? Well, make sure y'all buckled in and ready for takeoff, because this is about to be a wild one. But before we get into all of that, this your boy Stone Astro. If you end up liking the video, please like the video. Make sure you follow, subscribe. We're just trying to grow the page. But without further ado, we're gonna blast right back into this. Because of the circumstances of multiple run-ins with law enforcement and a long rap sheet, I'm going to start this story by looking back, because before the unfortunate airport shooting on Monday, Portia had plenty of run-ins and trouble with law enforcement, and I think this could really help outline the type of issues that she was struggling with. The timeline on Portia's run-ins with police would show odd outcomes. In October 2019, police responded to a house fire where they would find then 34 Portia confessing to causing the fire and claiming to be God's prophet. She claimed that she was the cause of the fire. Even with her confession, it wasn't enough to convict her due to lack of scientific evidence. Ironically, she was only free at that time due to be incompetent to stand trial after allegedly attempting to rob a bank earlier that same year. In April of 2019, police responded to a call from a Bank of America after being notified of a woman that handed a note to a teller demanding an undisclosed amount of money. Police would respond to the call and Portia would take off running. Police were located not far from the bank, but then the case was dismissed and Portia underwent inpatient and outpatient treatment. As recent as June of 2021, she was reported to have a similarly strange incident when she got a misdemeanor for pulling a fire alarm in a hotel. And again, she was found incompetent to stand trial. Even as far back as 2016, she was reported as being denied from buying 2 guns from a pawn shop. She was denied due to a warrant that she had in New Mexico. Even as recent as September in 2020, she was detained for a mental health evaluation, but records show she was not found to be a danger to anyone. The police haven't disclosed a possible motive for the shooting as of yet, but witnesses say she mumbled things about her marriage to Chris Brown and was upset about being cheated on. All the culmination of these events led up to Monday's incident.
Preliminary investigation shows Odufuwa entered the terminal and walked into the restroom. About 5 minutes later, the suspect left the restroom wearing a black hoodie with the hood over her head and her hands in her front pockets. The suspect walked from the bathroom to the Southwest Airlines ticketing area and says she has an announcement to make. Witnesses say Odufuwa started to ramble, talking about a marriage, incarceration, and that she was going to blow up the airport, and then pulls a handgun from her sweatshirt. At 11:06, she pointed the gun towards the ceiling and fired multiple rounds. Officer Ronald Cronin, a 15-year veteran of the Dallas Police Department, was in the immediate area and engaged Ms. Odufuwa, giving verbal commands to drop the weapon. At 11:06 and 50 seconds, Odufuwa pointed her gun at Officer Cronin and an innocent bystander. At 11:06 and 51 seconds, Officer Cronin took cover behind a ticket kiosk and fired his department-issued weapon, striking the suspect multiple times. Officer Cronin held his position, and other Dallas Police Department officers arrived to take the suspect into custody. Officers started first aid and called Dallas Fire Rescue for assistance.
The aftermath has the police trying to figure out how she got access to the guns in the first place. They were not registered in her name, and in my opinion, she should have been in a straitjacket long before then. If she can't be responsible for a crime, then she should not have had opportunities to do all of these things over and over again. But this is still a developing crazy story, so y'all make sure y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section and let me know how y'all feel about it. Like always, man, this your boy Stone Astro, and we gonna float up out of here. But go ahead and drop that outro.
I done said a lot of things that I can't take back. And if you wanna know the truth, there's a lot of good things that I know I like. I can't talk to you, I can't tell you the truth.